Hello, thank you for joining us here on the Handshake with me, Lynn Komjisha. And we get to understand some of these very interesting issues. Some we don't know, some we know, some we just don't want to know. But anyhow, I am here to help you understand because I am being educated on these things. And that is courtesy of Paul Bushalizi, my colleague, joining me here to understand these very interesting things. Paul, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Now, the Bank of Uganda is always increasing, reducing the lending rates rather. I don't get these things.
Well, what the Bank of Uganda does, it has what it calls the central bank rate.
Okay.
Now, the central bank rate basically is, it tells the market, it tells the banks, it gives them a signal on how they should price their loans to the public.
Okay.
So if it goes up, the banks also raise. If it goes down, banks normally follow.
So recently it was cut to 10%.
Yes, so recently the central bank reduced it by 1 percentage point from 11% that it was before to 10%. And so what happens normally is banks will add a few percentage points on this as their lending rate to the public.
So what?
Well, so if the central bank raises, then the banks will raise their lending rates, and that means fewer people will borrow because the money will be more expensive. So,
okay.
So if the central bank lowers and the banks lower, more people will borrow.
So what are they trying to achieve here?
So one of the things that spurs growth is lending, borrowing. When people take loans, they go and use this money to either invest or to consume, and that generates economic activity. So imagine that, I mean, if you think of a loan is like an advance.
Yes.
You say, you know, I earn 1 million shillings and I want 15 million shillings. Banks can give you up to 15 times your salary. So you've actually got an advance of 15 months. What many times happens is then you can do bigger things. You can buy more sacks of cement to finish your house. You can buy a car. It's all economic activity. I mean, economic activity is just the production, the distribution and the consumption of goods and services. So by lowering the lending rate, people borrow more, and then.
But just 1%, 1% is it's not much.
It's not much, but it makes a difference. Your lending rate can go from now, they are saying it's about 21% to about, let's say 20%. But over the period of, let's say, a 6-year loan, that's a lot of million shillings, depending on how much you borrow.
True. So is this really, I don't see, is it going to encourage, it's only for 2 months. In 2 months, there's much more people are doing than...
No, but think about it. If you go and get a loan, let's assume now the banks go and lower their rates.
Okay.
When you go and get that loan at that rate, it'll be your rate for the rest of your period. Kind of. Yes. So 2 months is enough to push
covered.
Something. But also it's 2 months because the Bank of Uganda makes announcements every 2 months. So who knows? In the next month time, they might say 9%.
So if I have a loan right now that I'm supposed to be paying back, and in a period of maybe 6 years, does this affect me?
That's the $100 million question. The argument has been, the criticism of the banks has always been that they are very quick to raise the rate when the Bank of Uganda raises rate, but are very slow to lower it. Yeah. And if you're already in an existing loan, chances are, you know, your room for negotiating it down might be less. You might have to maybe top up the loan so that you get a better rate. But otherwise, you stick with your rate from last month. But the sad thing is that if the rates go up and
you're still affected.
Yeah, some of the banks now say, now you see.
Still, I think this is unfair for some of the people.
Yeah, I think. Well, personally, I think it also is, but I think it's also a function of we don't have what they call consumer groups in Uganda, strong enough consumer groups, which would put pressure on the banks that look, if it goes down, other people should go down, just as if it goes up, other people should go up.
Yes.
If you don't let it go down when it's going down, then you have no right to raise it when it's going.
Sure.
Yeah.
Wow.
But we need the numbers to negotiate with these banks. They'll take their chances anytime they can if they're not stopped.
Wow. I honestly had no idea about this. So there you are. You have it. Take advantage if you can. And if you're lucky, maybe So the next 2 months, they're going to have, there's something else that is going to come up.
Well, so the CBR, the Bank of Uganda looks, it's mainly about inflation. So if Bank of Uganda looks forward with all their research and they say that inflation is going to increase, they might increase the CBR.
Okay.
And if they see it's not going to, they might keep it stable or they might lower it.
So what does this mean for the economy currently?
Well, it means that economic activity, if the banks follow suit, could be increased. Because part of the problem we've had in the last few weeks or months is that there's just a lack of cash. There's not enough, there's not a lot of cash as used to be.
True.
And part of that also is because the CBR has been quite high.
True. All right. There you have it. Simple. So go there, go there and find out a lot about these things, and you never know. You might be you know, you might be lucky in a way, and that is thanks to Paul. I had no idea about these things. I'm sure some of you also didn't know, but thank you, Paul.
You're welcome.